In today's Leeds news, Saudi offer for Cooper, new squad numbers announced, under 21 fixtures released, Summerville's Premier League interest, and Cardiff press conference reviewed. Hiya folks, Jer here on the 4th of August at The View with your Leeds United news, and we're into it now. It is Friday. The press conference will take place at 1:15 today. We will cover the press conference in the second half of this video because I want to get the news done first, and I haven't seen it yet. It hasn't happened yet, so when it happens, I'll stick it all together and we'll do a review on that. A little bit of news floating around, nothing major. Well, a Saudi Arabian offer for Liam Cooper is pretty major, so there's a bit of major stuff. Also, just a reminder, we are still doing a partnership with Tops and will be for a while. The discount code is on screen, the View 15, if you want to get 15% off a Tops Sport. They're doing the Leeds United 1958, 1959, as well as other Leeds United classic shirts there as well, and retro tops. But that discount code is applicable across all of them, so you can go check that out. Discount code somewhere here on the screen. Right, let's crack on and get into the news, and we'll start off with the big story, and that's the Saudi offer for Liam Cooper. According to multiple sources, Liam Cooper has received an offer from the Saudi League. However, Leeds Life Baron Cross has confirmed that the interest is real, but no official offer has been tabled to Leeds United just yet. The offer has come from Joel Robles' new club, Al Qadisiyah FC, who play in the second tier of the Saudi League. They are managed by Robbie Fowler, and there's definitely a connection between Robles and Liam Cooper there. It's a tough one for Cooper. He did say at the end of last season, if you don't want to be here next year, off you pop. At the same time, would anybody begrudge him a massive contract, cash-free money for the last 2 or 3 years of his career, which would be generational wealth, which would set up his family and his kids' families probably for a long time afterwards. He's in his 9th season, at least 265 appearances for the club as well. It's a tricky one for him. I don't envy the situation he's been in. He's been a huge LGBTQ advocate in Leeds. That would obviously have to weigh on his mind. We've seen the issues with Jordan Henderson moving from Liverpool there and what kind of drama that caused. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a moral high ground for Liam Cooper here, or if it's a case that the money is just too good to turn down in terms of his family's future. So it's a tricky one, arriving at a point in his career where you wouldn't probably begrudge him a big contract move at this stage of his career. But it's an interesting one to keep an eye on. I don't personally think he'll take it, but then I'm naive enough to think that people have morals. We'll have to wait and see. The new squad numbers for the new season have finally been announced. They took their time with this one, and they've done it on the last possible day. Some interesting ones in this. We can confirm Ethan Ampadu will take the number 4 shirt moving into next season. Takes over that from Adam Forshaw, a famous number for Leeds United that's barely been seen on the pitch over the last 5 years for Leeds. Already confirmed Charlie Creswell will take the number 5, and some other changes in amongst the younger element of the squad. Jamie Shackleton moves into the number 17 shirt for next season. Sam Greenwood has taken the big step up into Rodrigo and Pablo Hernandez's old number of 19. Archie Gray will stick with the number 22 that he's been wearing in pre-season, dropping down from number 63, I think he was wearing at one point. And Carl Darlow takes up 28. That was worn by Weston McKennie last season. He takes that one up. Interesting to point out, there is no squad number yet for Sam Byram, as his future still appears to be up in the air and not confirmed with the club. I'm sure we'll get more information from Daniel Farke on the Liam Cooper situation and on the Sam Byram situation in the press conference. So if there is a change in these situations, you'll get it on the back end of this video anyway. Let's move on to the under-21 side, and their fixtures have finally been released for them as well. Again, pretty late in the day. The under-21 side, Michael Scubala's side, will kick off their new look EPL 2 season with an away match on August 11th to Brighton and Hove Albion. They followed that up by a trip to play Manchester United a week later. Then the finish of the 20-game regular season will see Leeds finish up with an away match to West Brom when they played Derby County at home the game before that as well. At the 20-game mark, this is where it breaks up into a 16-team round-robin knockout tournament, and then the top 12 sides from that will get to represent the Premier League in an international tournament as well for next season. So that's that. Strange-looking league. There's 24 teams. There's pots of 5. Everyone's in a pot of 5, but you play your pot of 5, and then you play other teams from other pots. It's highly convoluted. We did a video on it before explaining the breakdown of it. It's just highly convoluted and absolutely no reason for it. Moving on, then we'll talk about potential exits, and one that's been floating around for a while and continues to linger. And I think this will go all the way to deadline day as well, according to Football Insider. So find the biggest truck of salt you can find and just dump it all over this. They are saying that there is growing interest in the Premier League increase. Lencio, Summerville, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, and Borussia Dortmund are all said to be keeping an eye on the situation. No formal bid has been tabled to Leeds United or has been labelled table to the player. They have, apparently Crystal Palace have labelled an interest in the player, but as of right now, there has been no official bids on the table for the player. So as it stands right now, Chris Summerville will still be a Leeds United player. It will be again interesting to see what's said in the press conference about exits, as well as what kind of team takes the pitch on Sunday. We could probably read into who's staying and who's going based on what team takes the field at Ellen Road on Sunday. The press conference will be kicking off in a bit, so I will pause this video right here, and I will see you back in a couple of seconds for the Daniel Farke's first official press conference as Leeds United head coach as we look ahead to the Cardiff City game. I'll see you in a sec. Right, so Daniel Farke's press conference has just completed, and there's some interesting bits and some injury news to bring you as well. We'll start off with just the main pieces of the press conference. Asked about the first game in charge and if he's looking forward to this, he said yes. He said first game of the season is always exciting, and he's been at Ellen Road a couple of times, and the chance to come out there day one with Leeds in the new season is very exciting. He said he knows it'll be an outstanding atmosphere, and he can't wait for that. Asked how the squad was looking and some injuries, there are some concerns. He said there are some injuries. Paddy is out until after the international break with a hamstring problem. Jorginho Rutter has a core injury and will miss Sunday and Tuesday, but could be back in contention for next weekend's games. Mateo Joseph is injured. My thoughts of it being a prank are ruled out, unfortunately. He is has damaged ligaments in his ankle on Wednesday. He's got better over the last 2 days, but he will miss the game at the weekend and is likely to be out for 2 or 3 weeks with a ligament injury. So he's looking also at either just before or just after the international break coming back. Real disappointment for Mateo Joseph. This could have been an opportunity to go straight into the starting lineup and really give Daniel Farke something to think about. On the transfer situation, he said, look, everyone's working hard behind the scenes. He said, we need to strengthen all areas of the park. He said, we need to have strength in fullback areas. We also need to look at the centre back position. He said, asked about midfielder, he said creativity in midfield is going to be needed, as well as hard-hitting tackling in midfield, as well as a striker were also mentioned. He said that the club has many wishes of players that they wish to bring in, but they've got to be realistic and they've got to be careful with financial fair play. And he said that is restricting them a little bit at the moment, but he said they are confident that the people behind the scenes here are doing all the right things to strengthen the squad, but he said he won't comment on it until September 1st. This could be a late drive in the window for Leeds as dominoes start to fall in terms of players they're trying to bring in. Expecting players to leave, he was asked about this, and he said that he have to wait and see. The contract clauses have basically meant that Leeds are no longer in the driving seat when it comes to releasing players, but he said they need to get back into that position, and they're not far off of that. But he said it's difficult to handle all the situation. We said we need to learn from the mistakes that were made with these contracts and make sure that they never happen again. It's the second or third time he said that. But he said if you look at the situation with injuries and transfers each week that we have, it's only going to get better with players coming back from injury and new signings coming in. Asked about Sam Byram's situation, he said we're in talks. We're in concrete talks with Sam. He said that they will only speak about stuff as a club when it's done. That is the model of the club going forward. So we can now take all the lack of noise coming out of the club as a direct instruction of how Leeds will operate going forward. If there's no news on a confirmed deal, it won't be announced until it's confirmed. So what do Leeds have up front was asked. I think Jaffe Gadhart's the obvious one here, but he said, look, we're very thin on the ground in front of strikers. If you'd asked him last week, we had 3 competitive strikers. He was happy with that. But he says now, what's happened has happened. And he said, we got to be creative and find a way. But he said, as long as we have 11 players to wear the white shirt and give it all, which he believes we have, we'll be fine. Asked about the training situation this week, he said we only trained with 16 players because of the injuries, akin to last season a bit in some areas. But he said they've got a great camaraderie and there's a great attitude with the players. He said they stick together. And he said he's confident with those players going forward. He said injuries coming back and signings coming in will be okay. He was then asked about how difficult it will be to get Leeds back into the Premier League, despite the fact he has experience doing it with Norwich. And he said, look, it's great to have experience, but there's no guarantee that you'll get there just because you have that. He said the first time he got promoted with Norwich, he did it with a group of kids from lower leagues, and divisions below that they pushed together and managed to win the league with 94 points. Second time round, they were the favourites and went back up. But he said just because you've got that experience doesn't mean it's a guarantee that you'll go back up, but we're going to work unbelievably hard to get there. He said it's important to know what's necessary, he said, to get there. Contract situation is starting back late because of the Premier League's late finish. Hasn't been ideal. But he said the Premier League is the best league in the world and we want to get there. But the Championship is the toughest league in the world and we've got to respect that. He said he loves the lads, loves the club so far from what he has seen. And he said key people behind the scenes again are doing all the right things. And he said this club will be successful, but it's just difficult to say how quickly we'll see that. He's talked an awful lot about just surviving the first month and trying to pick up as many points as we can. And the fans helping him through the first month before we start to see the signings come in, which kind of leads to being a very late window for Leeds. And Stuart Dallas came up and asked about his situation and timescale on his injuries. And Farkas said there's no timescale. It's a really bad injury. And he said that Dallas will come back stronger, will come back fitter, but they will give him as much time as he needs in order to get to that level. There were reports earlier in the week as well about Dallas that he has had a number of setbacks during this and a couple of repeat operations to make sure everything's cleaned up and the injuries tidied up. That will happen with a femur injury. They've got to do the initial operation, then the rehab, and then you got to go back in and clean it up. We saw that Adam Forshaw's hip injury. Sometimes a second surgery to clean the area is necessary. But he said there's no time scale on him, but he's been brilliant around the club, comes in, spends time with the young players, fantastic attitude. But he says it's too quick to put a time scale on him. Then asked about Jack Harrison, Tyler Adams and Sam Greenwood situation. Tyler Adams is not far away from a return and could be back just before or just after the international break. Jack Harrison is working hard behind the scenes and will be in the mix come the restart after the international breaks. And Sam Greenwood is in the same boat as well. He's back in training in the next couple of weeks, but will probably miss out until after the international break. Carl Darlow was mentioned and his situation at the club coming in with Ilan Millier still being there. Farkas said that we need to have competition in every single position. He's very happy with the position of goalkeeper. Ilan Millier will start on Sunday should he be fit, and Carl Darlow will have to battle for that position. It's still not guaranteed if Millier stays this season. There are rumours that it looks like he's more than likely going to stay, but then a lot can change between now and the end of the window. And then finally, he was asked about Archie Gray and his role at the club. And he said he spoke a lot about Archie, but he said he has a reputation for bringing young players through. And he said, but they get tough love from me, is what he said. And he said, I don't praise players too early. We've seen that Ian Pavetta as well, the situation there. And he said, we will wait and see with Archie. I don't praise people after a couple of preseason games. He will need to do it consistently over a couple of league matches before we start to look at that. But he said he operates on a tough love policy with younger players. And he said he won't judge the players until they've played enough first team senior games. Asked if he was prepared to play him, he said, if he's ready and he's prepared correctly, I can bring him to the door, but he has to walk through himself, and the attitude will be important when it comes to that. But he said he's looked very good so far, but he said he will be very strict with Archie in the coming days. Also, finally, just to mention the giveaway winners, I didn't forget, I did say I'd announce it today. I have contacted both of you on comments that you've left on the videos over the course of the month. The two winners are Big Billy Rock. If you can contact me on my email, which you'll get in the about section on the channel, and Liam B 9790 has also won the second Leeds United shirt. So again, Liam and Billy Big Rock. If you can contact me on the back end of my channel, go into the about section, you'll get my email address there. Please send me an email so I can get your details. I need a phone number and an email off you so I can contact you about the prizes as well. Nothing else going to next month. We probably will do a giveaway on the away shirt or third shirt once they're released as well properly. I know the away shirt's already out, but we'll do some more giveaways over the course of the year. So that's going to be it for me for today, folks. Podcast is being recorded tonight. Members will see it tonight when it comes out. And then we will have on the channel tomorrow morning, Saturday morning for everybody else. We'll have Kate, Lockie and Max with me tonight going through a season preview of what we're looking forward to the return to the championship season. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.